Hey guys, how's it going? It's Shay, and welcome back to The Utmost Geek. Here is what I think to be a very strong little machine for what it's designed for. This is a HP thin client, and these were used in offices and businesses and schools and all of that to replace regular old computers, and even replace some of these tiny computers like this one. And the idea is you're supposed to have a domain set up where you have a server which stores all the user's data and profiles and documents and all that, and you have hundreds or thousands of these in your office connecting to those servers with maybe a server for each floor or something. I'm not too sure, but I believe that's how it works. And they usually, in previous times, they usually had very weak CPUs and just barely enough resources to actually connect to those servers and do what they're supposed to do. But now there has been a kind of trend of making these more powerful over time. So you get ones that have expansion slots and more powerful CPUs and more RAM and more everything, really. Even storage you can have in these now. Before, they'd only have a little disk on module type thing that could hold maybe 4 gigs of data. Just enough for an operating system. A very bare bones one, by the way, to connect to the servers. But yeah, that's the whole idea of these. So, what makes this one so special, I hear you ask? Why don't we find out? As usual, we'll look at the ports and the insides and all of that stuff, and then we'll see what it can actually do. So, let's do that. Alright, before I just start doing my whole yabbering, I forgot to tell you how much I got this for. This was £25, and there's a whole bunch of these up for sale right now on eBay at the time of this video, or just a couple of... I believe I got this a few weeks ago, but still, there's still quite a few of them around because offices are now clearing them out. It's been 5 years or so since the release, or I believe actually, this thing is like 7 years old, 8 years old now. Yeah, 2015. So not the newest thing ever, and as you can see, this one's got some scratches and wear on it, but they're worth having a look at, I think. But anyways, looking at the ports, we have USB 2, USB 3, and 2 headphone jacks. Is one a headset jack? Yeah, one is a headset jack. That's awesome. So that's a common thing on these HPs now, and even they're still doing this, by the way. And we have a very badly designed power button here. It doesn't have any feedback to it. I mean, it's not, you can hear it, but it doesn't go in much, and you can kind of... When I first got this thing, I was very surprised to feel that I didn't think that I turned the thing on because it just, you know. Anyways, let's have a look at the sides. Right side, left side with a upside down Windows Pro sticker. I'll talk about that in a bit. And the rear, which is quite complete, isn't it? It's got quite a lot of ports. We got PS2 as usual, serial, 2 serials and parallel. Very common to see these ports on thin clients. Even today, I believe that some of them still have these. And we got 4 DisplayPort connectors, 4 USB 2.0s. I believe that's a line in and a line out, and a power jack, which is I'll talk about that in a second as well. And Ethernet, which I believe is gigabit Ethernet. Yeah. And we have 2 blank plates here. One is for an expansion slot, a card or like graphics card or something, which is awesome. And I don't actually understand what this is for. We can have a look inside, maybe that'll get an idea. But yeah, let me just show you one more thing underneath here, and then we'll open the insides. Alright, so looking underneath here, we have the stand, and usually these things are in a vertical mode. You can see the 2 mounts here, and that's why this thing was upside down, because you're supposed to keep this thing like this. You can barely keep it in frame there. but I put the stand on its side just because it doesn't really fit on well. It's kind of, one of the screws is bent and kind of makes it a bit bent in how it stands, so that's funny. There's also a little information card thing here. I'll try and put a picture of it at the end of the video. It's just got a bunch of like serial numbers and MAC address and all that stuff, I think. So yeah, not much, but let's have a look on the inside. Alrighty, here we are, opened. Sorry I couldn't record it. I was having a sneezing moment. But basically, you just unclip this. It sits in here. You pull this tab and you unclip that, and then you undo this tab here, which is a locking tab. It doesn't do much on my one, and you just slide the panel off. It usually just sits on top like this. But on my one, it doesn't like to sit in properly because it's all bent up from the crooked stand that was mounted for a long time. So that's good. But looking inside here, of course this thing is supposed to be vertical rather than horizontal, but it's okay. When it's mounted, when it's in its horizontal mode, everything's upside down, so that's a bit funny. But yeah, what we're looking at is a big fan for your CPU and heatsink. CPU's underneath the motherboard, which is a bit funny. We have our M.2 SATA slot here, which only has a 32 gig one of the smaller variety. I believe it's called 2230. I think, and then that's 2280, and then that's something else. I don't remember these days. But I think there's some marking or something. No, okay. Thankfully, the M.2 SATAs are getting kind of hard, but you can still find Chinese ones, so that's good at least. We have our MAC address here, a PCIe slot for your Wi-Fi card, and we have a times 16 slot here for a graphics card or networking card or whatever you want really. It is wired for 8 times 8, so it's not the full length, but and there's also a 25 watt limit on it, power draw, because usually these come with a 70 watt power supply, and when I got this thing it didn't come with one, so I had to use my HP EliteBooks power supply that I bought for it on this laptop, and on this thin client, and it didn't work, so I took out one that was 120 watts, and I think that came from a Thunderbolt dock, which worked just fine. Also, here's another neat thing. To remove this slot here, you just push down and you undo this clip, and that means you can slide the little slot out, and yeah, completely toolless. Nice. But yeah, I wish there was a SATA port or a hard drive cage or something, but looks like there's no way to do that. And under this shielding is your 2 RAM slots, which it's currently got 8 gigs of RAM. And I haven't even talked about what's on the underside of this thing, and that is a AMD, I think it's an Athlon CPU, and I probably will say that later, but it's got a funny model number. I'll probably put in the description or something, or even on the subtitles or something like that. You'll also notice that there's a little USB 3.0 port here. You can just stick a memory stick in here and use that as a kind of boot device. Won't be the fastest, of course, but you can make do with that. To remove one more funny thing, especially because you might have noticed, since this thing has a heatsink and fan, you might be thinking it runs hot. And yes, it does run. It runs warm for sure, but it is silent. I don't hear this thing at all, compared to my three of my tiny machines, my HP and the 2 Lenovo's that we looked at. Those things are much noisier compared to this, which is a huge benefit that this has. So, good media center, perhaps? Only issue in that sense is it can only do 4K 30 Hz, I believe, with all 4 of these, but I haven't checked to see what one of these can do because I don't actually have a 4K display at the moment. I should probably get a 4K monitor to replace one of the ones I have sitting around. That would be good to test out a few machines. But yeah, that's the inside for you. It's not too special or anything. And now let's look and see how it does. Alrighty, here we are booted up into the BIOS. And as you can probably hear, there's no sound coming from this thing. It's just the air purifier running in the back, but otherwise it's very, very quiet. That's our CPU. It is an RX 427BB, so yeah, not an Athlon. 2.7 gigahertz, which is good. 8 gigs of RAM, 1600 megahertz. All very nice. And I think this is on the latest, one of the newer BIOSes. Yeah, 2019. Storage, we only have that little SATA drive. HCI, of course. Not too many options in here. Toolless BIOS update. You can do that. How cool. System security, and you can have secure boot on this thing. I don't think you'll be able to run Windows 11 on this. Not that you really should, but oh yeah, there you go. ×8. And the PCIe is for the Wi-Fi card. Yeah, all normal stuff really. Nothing too fancy. That's okay. You can turn up the idle speed for the fan if you want to, which is not really needed to be honest, because and it doesn't really do much anyways. This thing is still pretty quiet, so let's just turn that down like so, and ignore changes and exit. Let's boot into the OS. And the OS I've chosen for this is Lubuntu, which is very small in size. It is, of course, Ubuntu based, which in turn is Debian based. So that's great. And it means that we get a lot of compatibility and drivers and all of that good stuff. So everything works perfectly fine. And there we go. Let me sign in here. It's actually a very usable system. I mean, just OS wise, it's actually very nice. Oh dear. Let me try that again. There we go. Not that stupid, I guess. But let's get all the normal stuff open. Actually, by normal stuff, I mean I can actually just show you all of the things I've installed here, because there are quite a few interesting programs that I've found to substitute for the things that I have on Windows, such as this. Instead of having HWinfo, we have CPUX, which I'm hoping you guys can see. Yeah. So we'll keep this open because this is a good way to check temps and everything, and we'll just go from there really. I do have a couple of games and things that we can also try, and I do have one thing to try as well, which is going to be a bit interesting. So let's start off with internet playback, I guess. Alright, here it is playing YouTube. The speaker is very quiet, but it's doing okay temp wise, 52 degrees now, and you know, it's again, it doesn't really have any issues playing with any videos or anything, surprisingly. Does just fine, even if I play that Sony 4K video that I was playing last time. And again, sorry about the table being there. I am doing this just after I made the last one, so yeah. Let's see here, that will do. Don't think we're gonna get 4K 60, but we can try. Get 1080. Yeah. Always having issues with 4K playback. Even this is disabled right now. And now it's loud, my goodness. I can turn that down. Yeah, this is one issue of Ubuntu that I found. It's a bit of a pain in the butt to control the audio. So if I just turn it, that's better. Don't want to blow out that poor thing. Oh yeah, it does it just fine, really. There's a bit of stuttering, but I don't know if, yeah, I don't know if that's to do with the internet or not. What's the temps? 55, yeah. Pretty normal. Anyways, let's try some games now, shall we? Alrighty, here we go. Of course, we start off with this and go from there. Again, I've mentioned this many times in my videos, but we're planning on getting new Wi-Fi. But unfortunately, I am... What the hell? Okay, I guess we're not doing that then. Or is it just being goofy? Let me pause and give you guys... Oh, there we go. Never mind. Oh yeah. There we go. Oh, there's a bit of tearing, you can see that. That's interesting. Doesn't feel like it's struggling though, I don't know why it's tearing. Could be just a display thing. Yeah, it handles internet games just fine. Let's try the next game, I guess. Of course, we had to try Super Tux Car, right? So we are running at, yeah, these settings. I did try higher before, but I didn't like it too well. So let's see what it can do. Here we go, and it's pretty playable. Again, we're getting some funny screen tearing. I think it's to do with my monitor. I was trying on the TV earlier, which is just a regular Full HD TV, nothing special. It's doing it just fine. Well, yeah, could make for a very good little games box, that's for sure. It's got some oomph in it. I would definitely want to try Nintendo Wii emulation with it, because it probably would do it just fine with the HD graphics that it has. And that's one of the benefits with these AMD systems, really. They always seem to have some sort of better graphics to them, don't they? What? I'm not the best racer, definitely. Right, let's try the next one. I was gonna try Minecraft here, but it looks like it doesn't want to play with us or work. It's done this many times before now, so I'm not surprised that's doing it now. I don't know why it's so unstable on Linux. Anyways, on to the next one. Alright, here's something this will be easy to play. I mean, this is just a regular 2D game, isn't it? There you go, see? Anything can play this, to be honest. So this is not a challenge at all. Oh well. On to the next game, I guess. Alright, so even though this is not technically a game per chance, I thought we'd give this a try. Streaming from my main machine, which this could go horribly wrong, or it could just... Oh, right, okay, I've got to do that. We're actually just staying behind my computer, so I'm guessing it would do okay. Of course, if you're using an Ethernet cable, it will do even better. And the resolution looks very funny because we are, well, probably because the monitor I'm using is an ultra wide. So now we wait. Alright, well, it's working. It took a long time to load thanks to my computer being dumb, but as you can see, my controller's working here. I can drive normally, and there's not much latency really. Like, I'm just looking at my computer, which is running the game. It looks fine, and the audio's playing, although there is some tearing again. I don't know if this is to do with the system or what this is, but basically, the reason this all exists is because of this thing, the Steam Link. I would do a dedicated video on it, but again, thanks to my internet being not so great, it wouldn't be fair to show you its gameplay when I don't have the best circumstances, because for something like that you need proper gigabit Ethernet, and that's not something I have at the moment. But as you can see, it works fine, and this could be a pretty good use case for, you know, game streaming, having one of these thin clients around. Now, I don't know if a lower spec one could do this, but I have a feeling it would be able to pull it off just fine. There is a thin version of this, or a smaller version of this thin client, with a dual-core CPU that I was thinking of getting, but after finding out that it turned out to be a bit of a potato, I'm glad I got this one instead. But yeah, that's all I have to show you for this one. Now let's end the video. Alrighty guys, I hope you enjoyed looking at this one with me. I know it's a bit of an older one now, and I do hope to get a more modern one at some point, because those are Ryzen powered and they are very strong performers for what they're supposed to be. They are very surprising. They can handle 4K easily and all of that, which is epic, and I think those are the perfect type of tinkering box, because they're not that big. I mean, this one is a bit chunky, and so are those, but they're still smaller than a lot of desktops today. And I believe it's the same form factor as the, or like size form factor as the two Optiplexes that we've had a look at lately. And as usual, feel free to let me know what you guys think of these. And would you use these for a Linux machine? Because I think it's pretty much perfect. Apart from the fact it doesn't have SATA. That kind of sucks, but at least you have M.2 SATA, even though it's getting a bit rare now, but at least you have it to hand, and you can still stick a external hard drive as a boot device, which is awesome. So yeah, as usual, I'll just say the regular old thing where nobody's forcing you to like or subscribe. It's not the thing that we do on this channel. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one, and bye for now.